Hello and welcome to CKE 10,001's gaming channel. In this video, we'll be looking at my Kill la Kill Satsuki vs Ryoko English deck profile. This deck build runs 15 level 0s, 13 level 1s, 9 level 2s, 5 level 3s, and 8 Climax cards. The first card we're going to take a look at is Wuring Mako. I'm running it at 3 copies. It has 2 effects. The first is continuous. All your other close or family character gets 500 power. Second is continuous. Your other character in the middle position of your center stage get the following ability. Continuous. This card cannot be chosen by your opponent's effects. So it's a global assist, and that can make your middle center stage hexproof. So very useful card. And then I'm running 2 copies of Deep Bonds Ryoko. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a Climax. If you do, choose a close or family character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. The second is when another of your close or family character becomes reversed, choose one of your characters and that character gets 1000 power until end of turn. So Revenge trigger with Climax discard. And then the next level 0 I'm running is only clothing Ryoko has, Senketsu. I'm running at 3 copies. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose one of your other characters with a marker, and that character gets 1000 power until end of turn. And when this card becomes reversed, you can reverse your opponent's level 0 or lower character. Next, I'm running 2 copies of Next Seat Mako. If the card is in the middle position of your center stage, this gets 1k power, so it's a 0/0 3500 beater card. And I'm running 3 copies of First Step of Lifelong Ambition Satsuki. When this card is put into your waiting room from the stage, you can pay 1, pitch a card. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 closed character. Reveal it to your opponent and put it in your hand. And shuffle your deck. And then I'm running 2 copies of Before the Final Battle Satsuki. It has 2 effects. First is if the number of characters in your opponent's center stage is 2 or less, this card gets 1000 power. Second is activate Brainstorm, pay 1, rest 2 of your characters. For each Climax reveal during the Brainstorm, you can draw up to 1 card. So it's a draw Brainstormer. And then next up, I'm running 2 copies of Genius Hacker Inuyumuda. It has 2 effects. The first is continuous assist. All of your closed characters in front of this card gets 1 level and 500 power. Second, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 2. If you do, draw up to 2 cards, choose a card from your hand and put it into the waiting room. So it's filter and assist. And then I'm running 4 copies of the Great Spirit Satsuki. If there's a marker underneath this card gets 1500 power. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can choose a card named Junketsu from your waiting room and put it face down underneath this card as a marker. And it'll be 6k. And your Climax combo at level 1 is with High Aspiration Satsuki. You're running it at 3 copies. When this card attacks, if a card named My Actions Are Early to Appear is in your Climax area, you can take a hit. If you do, draw a card, and this card gets X power. X equals to the 500 multiplied by the number of other closed characters. And it has Hand Encore as well. On a +2 soul Climax for plussing. And then the event cards I'm running 4 Junketsus. One is the red event counter. Gives a character, closed character, 3500 power. And then the other 3 Junketsus I'm running are the blue Junketsus. It's look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 closed character from among them, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and put the rest into the waiting room. So it helps you mill your deck if your deck is low on Climaxes, and yeah, tries to get something good. And at level 2, I'm running 3 copies of War Declaration Ryoko. It has 3 effects. The first is continuous. All your other closed character gets 1k power. Second, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, rest this card. Third is Climax combo. When a card named Battle of Fate is placed in your Climax area, if this card is in your center stage, stand this card and choose up to 1 level 1 or lower character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. And then the Climax with it, Battle of Fate, is a red stock charge Climax. And then I'm running 3 copies of the Voice Heard Senketsu backup. When you use card's backup, reveal the top card of your deck. If that is a close or family character, choose one of your characters and that character gets 1000 power. So it's an extra 1k, so it's a 2/1 3500 backup. And then I'm running 2 copies of Satsuki Discovering a Chance for Victory. It's this card gets 500 power for each of your other closed character. So it's just a beater card at level 2. And I'm running 1 copy of the mini Satsuki promo, which is when this card's placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, pitch a card. If you do, search your deck for 1 closed character. And then at level 3, I'm running 3 copies of To Protect the World Satsuki. 3 effects. The first is if the number of cards named To Honoji Academy in your waiting room is 0 or more, this gets -1 level in your hand, so you can early play it. Second is if there's a marker under this card, this gets 1500 power. And when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can put up to 1 card from the top of your clock into your waiting room, so it heals. And then choose a card named Junketsu in your waiting room, put it face down underneath this card as a marker. And then I'm running 2 copies of Conclusion After Wearing Ryoko. It has 3 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may choose a card named Junketsu from your waiting room and put it into your memory. If you do, choose a card named Only Clothing Ryoko has Senketsu in your waiting room and put it face down underneath this card as a marker. And the card that gets sent to memory is the red and blue event cards. And then the level 0 is what you get as a marker underneath this card. And the second ability is when this card becomes reversed in battle, you can pay 1, reveal a closed character, and put the card into face down underneath this card as a marker. If you do, rest this card. And then the third ability is auto. At the beginning of the Encore step, you may pay the cost, which is pay 2, and deal X damage to your opponent. X equals to the number of markers underneath this card. And then for climaxes, I'm running 2 copies of Battle of Fate, which is for the level 2 combo. And then I'm running 4 copies of To Honoji Academy, which is a 2k draw climax, to early play the Satsuki level 3 to heal. And for the level 3 over there, Satsuki. And then 2 copies of the +2 soul climax. My actions are early appear for a total of 8 climax cards. Thanks for watching. Check EncoreDecks.com and the link in the description below to see an overview of this deck build. Next up is the JP profile. So now we'll take a look at my Kill la Kill Japanese deck profile with the power-up set included. This deck build runs 18 level 0s, 12 level 1s, 3 level 2s, 9 level 3s, and 8 climax cards. The first card we're going to take a look at is the Kamui Junketsu Satsuki. It has 2 effects. The first is if there are 2 or fewer cards in your stock, this card gets 1500 power, so it's a 0/0 3500 beater. And when this card is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, discard a card, search your deck for up to 1 closed character, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. And that's running at 4 copies. And then I'm running 4 copies of the yellow Ryoko and Mako Family and Bond card. This ability activates once per turn. When your card is placed from a non-marker zone to the marker zone, you can pay 1, rest 2 of your characters. If you do, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 character with either close or family, reveal it, put it into your hand, put the rest into a waiting room, and it has a second effect. At the beginning of your climax phase, choose 1 of your characters, and that character has 500 power until end of turn. And then I'm running 4 copies of Encounter with Senketsu Ryoko. It has 2 abilities. The first is when this card becomes reversed in battle, you can pay 1, put a card from your hand into your waiting room, and put this card into your memory. If you do, choose a card named Rampage Ryoko in your waiting room and put it on the stage position that this card was on as rested. And the second effect is Auto Memory Heal Tax. And then the next card I'm running is 3 copies of Only Clothing Ryoko has 2 effects. First, when this card is placed on stage from hand, choose 1 of your characters with a marker. That character gets 1000 power. Second is it's a level 0 reverser. So when this gets reversed, if the opponent is level 0 or lower, reverse that character. Then I'm running 3 copies of Man and Clothed as 1 Senketsu. 3 effects. First, all your other characters with either closed or family get 100 power. Second, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, look at the top card of your deck, put it underneath this card as a marker. Third, activate, remove the marker, choose another characters, and that character is 1000 power for the turn. And I'm running 4 copies of Rampage Ryoko from the power-up set. It's 3 effects. This card cannot side attack. Second is when this card is placed on stage from your hand or through the change effect, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 0 or lower, put it into your stock. Third effect, when this card becomes reversed, you have to put this card to the bottom of your deck. Next is 4 copies of Ryoko Scissors Blade Dual Decapitation mode. It has 3 effects. First is if there's a marker underneath this card, this gains 4,000 power. Second is auto. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may choose either a Sunketsu Ryoko's outfit or man and clothe as one Sunketsu in your waiting room. Put it face down underneath this card as a marker. Third is the climax combo. When the battle opponent of this becomes reversed, if Faded Bout is in your climax area, you may salvage a character from the waiting room. And it's on a red stock charge. And then I'm running 3 copies of the blue Junketsu, which is look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 closed character, and add it to your hand, and then put the rest into the waiting room, just to help mill the deck if the deck is low on climaxes. And I'm running 1 copy of the red Junketsu event counter card for 3,500 power. Yeah. And then I'm running 2 copies of Satsuki for the Survival of Mankind. It has 3 effects. First is it assists all level 3s or higher for 2k. When this card is placed on stage, you can choose a Junketsu in the waiting room and put it face down underneath this card as a marker. And when your other character, level 3 Ryoko, is placed, you can remove the marker and then put the top card of your deck into that level 3 as a marker. So it moves markers around for it. And then I'm running 1 copy of Satsuki Unwavered Will. When this card attacks, if the character facing this card is level 3 or higher, this gets 6k power. And at the start of your opponent's attack phase, if Faded Bout is in your waiting room, this card gets 3,000 power. So big on both turns. And then I'm running 1 copy of the early play level 3 Sunketsu Koi Ryoko. If there's 2 or less climax cards in your waiting room, gets -1 level. When this card is placed on stage from hand, look up to 3 cards, grab card, and when graduating from sailor uniform is placed around a climax area, if this is in your front row, you can choose up to 1 character in your waiting room, return it to your hand, and this card gets 3k power for the turn, which is the combo of that climax, the character salvage. And then I'm running 4 copies of the level 3 Mako. Mako can't stop for any reason. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, this card gets X power. X equals to the number of closed or family characters you have. And the second is the auto. This ability activates once per turn. During the turn that this card is placed on stage from hand, when damage dealt by the card is cancelled, you may put the top card of your deck into your waiting room and deal X damage to your opponent. X equals to that card's level +1. So just an aggressive finisher card along with the Ryoko finisher, since you can't heal in this deck, since there's heal attacks. And then I'm running 4 copies of Conclusion After Wearing Ryoko. It has 3 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from hand, you choose a Junketsu from your waiting room and put it in your memory. If you do, choose a card named Only Clothes Ryoko has Junketsu in your waiting room and put it face down underneath this card as a marker. And when this card becomes reversed, you can pay 1, reveal a closed character, and put it underneath this card as a marker. And then if you do, rest this card. Third ability is at the beginning of your Encore step, you can pay 2. If you do, deal X damage to your opponent. X equals the number of markers this card has. So those are the event cards you need to send to memory, and that's level 0. You have to put it underneath this card as a marker. And as I said before, the power-up set level 2 Satsuki can help get this an additional marker on your active turn. So you'll have at least pay 2, ping 2 set up. And ideally, you would want maybe at least 1 copy of this and maybe 2 Makos or other way around. And then the last 8 cards are the climax cards. I'm running 4 copies of That Time Comes When a Girl Outgrows Her Sailor Uniform at 4 copies. And I'm running 4 copies of Fated Battle, or Battle of Fates, that's a red stock charge for the level 1 combo. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Check EncoreDecks.com in the link in the description below to see a deck overview.